Shall we begin?
Let's begin now.
Hi everybody, it's Doreen, and this is just going to be a quick video. As many of you know, back in February, Provocraft put out an update to your Gypsy. I went ahead and did the update, and I typically don't do it right away. I usually wait to see if they've gotten all the bugs out first, but I went ahead and did this one because I had a new cartridge that I wanted to use, and in order to do that, I needed to do the update. So I did go ahead and do the update. Needless to say, there was a problem with the update, and I ended up having to reformat my Gypsy and reload all the 125 or so Cricut cartridges that I had. I didn't have a problem with relinking all the cartridges. What I did have the problem with was I hadn't done a backup, which, as a person who works with computers all day and we do backups throughout the day where I work, was definitely a no-no. The last backup I had done was in October of last year, so anything that I did from Thanksgiving up until February when I did the update, I lost. So I no longer have those files. Thank goodness I do have everything written down, and I have the videos to refer back to if I decide I wanted to make that card again, which I rarely do. I always try to come up with something different. Well, since February, I have been contacting Provocraft on many occasions to find out when they're going to get the backup problem fixed. And I do have quite a bit of files. I would say it might be roughly over maybe 200 files. And I no longer have the ones, as I said before, that I did between November of last year up until February. So, like I said, I contacted Provocraft when I found out the backup wasn't working, and I repeatedly contacted them by phone. I've sent a FedEx letter to the president of the company, never got a response from the president of the company, and I continued calling, and each time I call, I got the message or the response, "We're working on it. We're working on it. We're working on it." Well, it is now October, and they are still working on it. I did finally get someone contact me by email maybe about 3 months ago, and she did apologize for my frustration. She did say that what they said to me on the phone, they're working on it. And she did offer me a gift card for the Cricut website for my troubles. And I was happy to receive the gift card. And frankly, I was actually happy that someone finally contacted me to tell me that they hadn't forgotten about me. They did receive my messages, and they apologized for me being told by one representative at Provocraft that I have too many files, and that's why it's not backing them up. The Gypsy was not built to have that many files, which I find unbelievably funny considering when I look at my Gypsy, it tells me that I have 91% free. So obviously I don't have too many files. So anyway, she did contact me once again to let me know that they are still working on the issue, and she gave me a temporary workaround so that I could at least back up my files and save my projects to my computer, because that was my main concern. I wanted to be able to save whatever I've done from February up until now, that I can save to the computer, and in case another update comes out, and I have to reformat my Gypsy again, I won't lose all of the things that I've done from February up until the present. So what I've decided to do is share this with all of you out there that own Gypsies and are concerned about not having a backup and not being able to use your files. And I did get a request from someone that it asked me if I would show them how to do the backup using the Cricut Sync software. Well, because that's not working, I wasn't able to do it when I did the Gypsy tutorials, but I am going to show you how it is supposed to work if it were working properly. And also, I had been communicating with Orlette, and her channel is Mrs. O.V. Watson, that I had gotten a response back from someone telling me how I could save my projects that I have on my Gypsy onto my computer. So what I'm going to do is get my computer set up, and I'm going to show you how you can save your files that you have on your Gypsy onto your computer. You also will be able to open them using the Cricut Craft Room. Now, not all of them are opening for me, and I did report that to the person that I've been communicating with at Provocraft. Her name is Kelsey, and she's been very, very helpful to me, and she understands my frustration. So I'm going to go ahead and get my computer set up, and then I'm going to show you how you can save your files. Okay, everybody, so right now I am just on the Cricut.com website. So what you want to do is make sure that you have connected your Gypsy to your computer, and by using the USB cable. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and open up your Cricut Sync software. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And what it's going to do is start initializing and detecting my Cricut device if I have one plugged in, and then it's going to connect to the Gypsy because that's what I have connected right now. And once it does that, it's going to check for updates. Now, I've already updated mine, so it automatically has said that everything is updated, and I'm just going to go ahead and click OK at that. And then the next thing I'll get is it'll let me know that there is another update for my Gypsy, which is the Imagine application and the Imagine Content Full. Well, since I don't have an Imagine, I'm just going to go ahead and not choose to update that right now. And I'm going to move on and just click Project Files. So what will come up next are all my project files that I have on my Gypsy. Now, the thing that I don't like about this is when you're looking at them on your Gypsy, they are in alphabetical order. However, when you open them up in the Cricut Sync software, they're not in alphabetical order. They don't go by the date, and they don't even go by the file size. So you kind of have to scroll through and find the actual file that you want to back up, and then you just pick that particular file as the one that you want to back up. So I'm going to scroll down until I can find a file from this year. So here's my first one from 2012. So I'm just going to pick that one. And then once I've picked the file, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to right click, and then you're going to choose the option that says Save Project As. So I'm going to pick that file, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I have a folder that I've created called Cricut Backup. It actually should say Gypsy Backup, but we're just going to say Cricut Backup. And then I have another one that says 2012. So after I've picked where I want my file to go, I'm just going to click on Save. Now, this is what will happen. It looks like all your files have disappeared, but technically they are not gone. They are still there. It's just, for some reason, sometimes it will take all of your files off the screen, and then other times it will just sit and it will hang with your file still sitting there. So now, the actual way that you would do the backup, if it were working properly, is you would still follow the same procedure of connecting your Gypsy to your computer, going through the updates if there are any, and then once you've done your updates, or if you don't have to do any updates, you would then once again click on that project files. It would bring up all your projects, and then if the backup were working the proper way, you would then go to File, and you'd click Backup Gypsy Data, and then it will proceed to back up your files. But right now mine is saying this feature is currently unavailable. To back up files, please drag and drop them onto your desktop. I have done it that way as well, and when you do it that way, your files do not back up. So this is why I have been in contact with Provocraft since February, trying to find out when they are going to get this problem fixed. The only thing that I don't like is that I have to do one file at a time. Now, the other thing she told me is that these may, once they're backed up, they may not open in the Cricut Craft Room. And I have tried to open some of them in the Cricut Craft Room, and she was correct. Some of them will open, some of them will not. And I'll show you what I mean by going ahead, and we'll open up the Cricut Craft Room so you can see where some of them will open, and then you'll see where I get an error message that it cannot open it. So I'm going to close out the Cricut Sync, and just to make sure, so you don't think you've lost your files, I'm going to once again open up the Cricut Sync software, go through the process of letting it detect my device, update, looking for the updates, and then you will see that my files are still actually there. So I can click on OK, and then click Project Files, and there are my project files. So don't think that when you do the procedure of picking the file and then right-clicking and doing Save Project As, and then that once you decide where you want to save it, and then you get the blank screen that your projects are gone. They are not gone. They are still on your Gypsy. So I'm gonna close the Cricut Sync software and then open up the Cricut Craft Room, and I'll show you what I mean by some files that I try to open that I've created in my Gypsy will open and some will not. Now, the other thing you need to know is you cannot have the Cricut Sync software and the Cricut Craft Room software opened at the same time. If you try to open the Cricut Craft Room, you will get an error message telling you that you need to close out the Cricut Sync. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the Cricut Craft Room and log in, and then I will come back. Okay, everybody, so now I have my Cricut Craft Room open, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how you would open up that file that you saved from your Gypsy. And as I said before, some of the files will open and some will not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the file that will open first. So earlier I took this file that was on my Gypsy and I saved it, and then I imported it into the Cricut Craft Room. And now I'm going to click on that and open that project. So now that one will open, and this one was one that I saved on my Gypsy. So now let's see if we can open the one that we just saved earlier. And we'll see if we're going to get the error message that I have been getting in the past. So what you want to do is, you've got your Cricut Craft Room open. You're going to go up to File and then Open. And then rather than clicking on any of the files here, you're going to click import, because that's what we're doing. We're importing a file in to our Cricut Craft Room from the Gypsy. So I'm going to go ahead and find that file that I saved earlier. And this is the file, and I'm going to click on open. And then here is my file right here. So now, if I click on this and click import, oh, I'm sorry, not import. We want to click open. We should be able to see that file come through. And that's the other thing. I can click on some of them and there will be nothing there. But in this case, this one does show. I must not have had anything on the layer 2, but I do have something on layer 1. So that one we were able to import into the Cricut Craft Room with no problems. So now I do have one out there that I know would not open, that I tried to. And if you want to save this, you can go ahead and save it. I really don't want to save it. I just want to make sure that I actually have the file itself from my Gypsy. So I'm going to click on don't save. So now what I want to do is I want to pull up one that I know I tried to import earlier, that I did follow the same procedure and it would not open in the craft room. So once again, I'm going to click on import and I'm going to go to that file, and I believe it was this one right here. So I'm going to click on that. And this is the error that you may get. I did contact Provocraft again to explain to them that I do get this error message when I try to open or import some of the files that I have backed up or followed their procedure to save my projects from off of my Gypsy, and they're working on finding out why I got this error message. At this point, I'm really not that concerned about it. My main thing was I wanted to be able to get my files off of the Gypsy onto my computer, so that if by chance they put out another update and the update doesn't work and I lose everything and have to reformat my Gypsy, I can at least bring these files back onto my Gypsy. So I hope I was able to help those who have been trying to figure out a way to get your files off of your Gypsy onto your computer, so you at least have somewhat of a backup. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.